I do think it's interesting that Michael Keaton's on TV. Also think it's interesting that he's in Flash, the new Flash movie, as Batman. I think that's pretty dope. But it's kind of diluted by the fact that we have the new emo Robert Pattinson. Don't know how I feel about that. It's like the director wanted him to get all jacked up for the movie, but then he got all emaciated. He went all Timothy Chalamet on that, like all twinkish. Like it's just like, dude, come on, you gotta balance with it. You got Ben Affleck looking jacked as shit, like you're talking about how it's racist to say anything against Islam, even if they throw gays off rooftops. When he was on Bill Maher, all jacked up on that testosterone and steroids. But then you got like Robert Pattinson getting a big head, like no, like right, like I just feel like. I don't know. It was just weird. It's really weird. And, she kind of smelled weird on set. It was actually part of the script. In Twilight, I was just like, oh, Kirsten Stewart felt vile. But then I realized it actually wasn't her. It was the man, the director. She was cheating on me with, and he just has incredible BO, and it kind of stuck to her, and so that's why that happened. We decided to keep it in the film. So. No, I don't think it's what happened. It was part. But anyway, yeah, like it's just he looks really emaciated. He looks like if Jake Gyllenhaal went from Nightcrawler to Batman. That's what it looks like. We're gonna discuss Dune soon. I'm gonna do a Dune. Within the next 5 minutes, I'll probably talk about Dune and what I think of it. But yeah, crazy stuff. Oh yeah. I learned this out over the weekend. I didn't know this. I've been like looking at my phone at 6 o'clock in the morning, looking at all those like those TikTok, like it's not TikTok, but it's like the YouTube version of TikTok. They've like taken those like quick videos. I scroll so I could sleep more before I start doing work, and I'm just like 1, 2, 3. It's like crack cocaine, and I see these memes played out over like videos, and one of them, I did not know has been misattributed for years. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Jordan, Elon Musk, so many people are alleged to have said this and coined the phrase. But it turns out it was actually Alec Baldwin. And last week, Alec finally had enough. After failing in court to have the phrase reattributed to himself, he decided to take matters into his own hands. And on set of his movie Rust, he shot and killed his cinematographer before turning to camera and saying, unquote, stay Gucci, and dropping the gun and walking off. I mean, that's, plagiarism is not a joke. And yeah. In all seriousness, of all the people in the world to be in that type of situation, Alec Baldwin, it's interesting. Talking about manslaughter charges, they're talking about other things. I don't know what is an actor's liability for like someone gives you a sword on set and you've been practicing with fake swords and they give you a real sword and like you're supposed to check the blade and you cut someone's head off for real. Like isn't that like you're not? There's no It's like playing hockey. Like if you play hockey and you punch someone, you don't get charged with like assault. During, you get a 5-minute, 10-minute major penalty or 5-minute major, and then that's it. There's no like, oh, you get a felony or something like that. It's within the game. I think when you're on set and someone is head of arms or, that handles all that stuff and hands you the gun, they say cold gun, and your assumption is it's cold, the liability, considering the context that you're playing, like it's a play. It's supposed to be fake. Are you really guilty? But I think for the sake of media, I think the DA's office in New Mexico, they are strict there with these laws in terms of involuntary manslaughter. But I think the context is everything in this regard. I think it's going to be really interesting to have the Motion Picture Association change laws based off Alec Baldwin being in jail for 10 years or whatever for involuntary manslaughter. I imagine if that were ever to happen, it would become a civil lawsuit, and the criminal justice part of that would work with the civil side, kind of like they did with O.J. Simpson, and say, listen, the real reward here is going to be like deferred sentencing with a huge like agreement to pay like $10 million or something to Helena Hutchins, Helena H-A-L, it's a confusing name, H-A-L-Y-N-A Hutchins. I made a joke really bad. My friend's been complaining about how like cinematographers, like he's like, I get these quotes. He's a deep director of photography in Hollywood. And he went to American Film Institute. You know, he's very done Tribeca of award-winning films and all this stuff, and Sundance and all these awards and accolades, and yet he still gets denied stuff all the time, like the chance to work on projects because of like Me Too movement. Like we're only looking for trans Native American Eskimos for director of photography for the film. Sorry, white man. And so I made a joke like, "Aren't you glad there's one less like woman you have to deal with?" And then he said, "I actually knew her," and then he didn't say anything after the text. And I was like, "Oh fuck, I feel like an idiot. It's ruined my day. Like taking a shit after getting out of the shower. I was like, might as well just go back to bed. This is awful." And then he laughed. I'm like, okay, so it's not that bad. You have to make light of these things, you know. But he said he's been getting like, his friends in Hollywood have been sending him crazy things like what was one of the text messages was why was he pointing a gun at the director of photography? Where do you think the camera is? What are you talking about? Why wasn't he pointing the gun at the bad guy? That's another text he got. Or these people work in the movie industry. It's crazy. It's crazy. The idea that his life could actually be like framed in the sense of being ignorant to something. I could see as a producer and intentionally cutting funding towards gun safety on set. That could be a liability issue, unquestionably. I heard rumors that people were loading the prop guns with live ammunition to target practice. They're out in the desert and they were bored and they were allowing people to do that. And then some people on set walked off. Like, yeah, I mean, that sounds like an Alec Baldwin type of thing, like no fucks given. You've ever seen him deal with the paparazzi? Oh my God, the guy's like an animal. I think it's interesting. He's just so aggressive, but you know, there's this asshole part of him is what is like easily attackable. You know, it's like that. The asshole is what can be like, you know, just. But I think the guy should go to jail. I don't want anyone to go to jail for things like that. I don't want this to be a precedent. We're canceling people left and right, and we're taking culture and the ability to market, like in terms of like the ability to sell something or to create. Because imagine, in terms of profit margin, what's going to make more money in terms of media? The Alec Baldwin trial or the low-budget movie Rust? I think you assume the movie, but I would say a murder trial involving, you know, a B-list, A-list actor, you know, depending on how you view him. He's not, you know, a leading man anymore, but he's right there. You know what I mean? He's Alec Baldwin, you know? He's the original, you know, Tom Clancy's... Is it Tom Clancy? Yeah, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, you know? No, is he the original Jack Ryan? He played him after Harrison Ford. Okay, fine. But he sure is fuck a lot better than what's his name from Jim from The Office. I mean, that guy's not a leading man. Who's kidding who? He doesn't have it. Cut the shit. You got a gorgeous wife, British, you know? She doesn't talk a lot. She's quiet. Haha. But like, he got it made. It's like when they did that thing with the Bond was, what's his name? With the guy with the elephant ears, and like, who was that? Who was the Bond with the elephant ears?